This is a DIY agrivoltaics experiment. As you can see here, I have some tomato plants planted on both sides of this large ground-mounted solar array. And the word agrivoltaics combines the words agriculture and photovoltaics. So it is the co-location or co-use of land simultaneously for solar power and for agriculture. Now that can also include pasturing animals and using them to graze the land around the solar panels so you don't need to mow or weed whack, which you see I have a problem with over here. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the crops. So switching over to the other side of the panels, you can see I have these three plants here planted on the south-facing side of the panels, which in the northern hemisphere means that they're going to get the most sun because there is nothing shading them. The land in front of the panels is cleared, and during the day, the shadow from the panels is going to be on the north side or directly underneath if the sun is pretty close to directly overhead. So these plants are going to get very close to pretty much all-day sunlight, whereas the plants in the back here, if I go under the panels for a second, you can see that they do get some late afternoon sun exposure. I'm in upstate New York filming this later in the day around 4 or 5 p.m. in mid-June. So they do get a few hours of sunlight later in the afternoon as the sun sets in that direction, but for much of the morning and midday, they are going to be shaded as the sun rises in the east and is kind of overhead slightly in the south. So these plants are not going to get anywhere near as much sun exposure as the plants out in front. Now, the question, if you'd like to do this for your own science project, is which plants thrive best in these partial shade conditions? So I have only planted tomatoes here, but depending on your climate and the types of crops or garden fruits or vegetables that you grow, you could do an experiment to plant different types of plants in direct sunlight as a control and in partial shade to see which ones grow better. And depending on the amount of time you have and the type of plant that you're growing, there are different ways you can define or quantify better. If you have the entire harvest season to do your science project, you might actually wait until the end and measure your yield or the actual number of tomatoes produced on these plants versus those plants. But if you don't have that much time, there are other ways you can measure plant growth, things like measuring the height, measuring the area of the leaves, actually digging up the plants and measuring the roots. And I will put a link in the description with more information about how you can measure plants for a science project if you don't have time to wait for an entire growing season. Also note that if we look at a view from the side here, I did not put these plants directly under the panels because I did want them to still get direct rain exposure. For a science project, you usually want to have controlled variables that are the same for your different test conditions. So in this case, again, when rain is falling vertically, I didn't want plants under here that would also not get direct exposure to rain. Although if you want to do multiple experiments and test different things, that is also something you could test with planting in different locations, again, right under the panels if you're not doing any artificial watering and you're just relying purely on rain. Or you could also introduce artificial watering or irrigation to control the amount of water each plant gets. I have also only set up 2 different shade locations here. If I had more plants, I could have a lot more options. These panels are planted on a hill where this uphill eastern side is lower and is going to get less sun overall than the downhill western side. For example, here you can see how this patch under the panels is already sunny. So if I wanted 3 different test conditions, I could have planted those out front, one up on the very shady side, and one down here on the less shady side to compare growth between all 3 areas. It's really up to you and what you want to do for your experiment. Now, of course, not everyone has access to a large ground-mounted solar array like this, and that's perfectly fine. You can also just do a smaller version of this experiment, which we'll show in a minute, with some artificial shade that you create with just a piece of wood or a tarp or something, or even planting plants on different sides of a building. So again, if you're in the northern hemisphere, the south-facing side is going to get the most sun. If you put plants on the east or west sides of the building, then they're only going to get sun for part of the day. So I do have access to this solar array, so wanted to try a true agrivoltaics experiment. But don't worry if you don't have access to solar panels. Any way that you can create shade to grow plants in different shade conditions would be fine. Now, as an alternative, here is a potentially simpler setup if you don't have access to a place where you can plant plants or a garden in the ground. You can see we also have a bunch of potted plants up on our deck. This is usually much safer from deer if that is a big concern. And I just have a bunch of little potted basil plants here, and I can leave some of them out so they get full sun, and then use anything small to create some artificial shade for the other ones. So I just have a scrap piece of plywood here that obviously isn't going to stand up on its own on its end very well. That would probably fall over. But if you have access to power tools, you could build sort of a little mock solar panel at an angle, maybe just by cutting some 2x4s at an angle and using those as supports to hold this up. Or just using any other pieces of wood, rocks, anything if you don't have tools and screws to hold this up, or putting them down just on the surface of the deck and using something like a chair. Really anything that's going to provide shade in a controlled environment, again, where you can give the plants the same amount of rain or manual watering, but some of them are going to get more shade than others. So again, that is an option if you don't have access to larger outdoor space near a building or the solar panels, where you could put plants in the ground or use larger potted plants. You don't need to use big plants for this experiment. Again, especially if you're looking at a short time frame and you want to either germinate plants from seeds or use starter plants like these, and then rather than waiting the entire harvest season, you can measure how much they grow, the number or size of the leaves, or take them out of the pots and measure the roots. Again, there's a link in the description with more information about how to measure plant growth for a science project, so go check that out. Now, just looking at one other way you could do this, relying on the shade from a structure. Here we have a long garden bed that is up against the side of the house. So in the afternoon, the part closer to the house starts getting shade much earlier than the part that is farther away. So this actually gives you sort of a gradient where plants closer to the house get the most shade and plants farther from the house get the most sun. So just another option. If you have a building with garden beds nearby, you can rely on that for the shade without having to set up anything artificially yourself. Or again, obviously you probably don't have access to ground-mounted solar panels, but most people have access to a building or even a large tree or something that's going to provide shade nearby. And circling back to the beginning of our video, you may have been watching that, and if you're an experienced gardener, thought, hey, you're missing a few things. One is tomato cages for the tomatoes. As those plants get taller, they're going to need support. So I had just planted them, hadn't added the cages yet. And the second, in my case, is deer fencing. I am in the Northeast US in a wooded rural area, so deer are all over the place and will come decimate your garden if you don't take some precautions. So I didn't want to use any sprays or repellents or anything, so I just put up some fencing that will keep larger animals like deer out. Probably isn't going to do much for smaller rodents and rabbits and things, but in my experience with our garden here, the tomato plants get tall enough that they're not as much of a concern for the smaller animals. So what you need in terms of the setup for your plants and protection from pests or animals, if any, is going to depend on your climate and the plants you are dealing with. If you aren't sure how to handle that, then just ask an adult who's good with gardening, or ask at a local nursery or plant store, and they will be more than happy to help. So that's it for now. There are a ton of other ways you could do this project, different variables you could test. I'm not going to list all of them in this video, but check out the link in the description to the written instructions on our website, where we'll talk a little bit more about the science behind this, and again, some of the different variations or twists you could put on this project if you'd like to have your own variables or setup. If you try it out, we would love to hear from you, so please go ahead and leave us a comment below this video to let us know how it went. And you can also check out the rest of our YouTube channel and our website, www.sciencebuddies.org, for over 1,000 other projects in all areas of science and engineering. Thanks for watching.